Hello and welcome to Tim's BMW Repairs and Information. Well, it's the holidays, so it gives us a few days to mess about with a few things in the car, and we're going to get these alloys looking fantastic. I've more or less finished that one, and that one doesn't look too bad at all. The rest of them are looking pretty manky. They got the usual stuff. Well, I'm going to quickly whiz through what's wrong with them. Right, let's have a quick look at what we've got to fix today. Well, we got the usual curbing. That's not a problem. We can fix that in about 5 minutes. No problem at all. No machine tools, all hand tools, and all available from Amazon. So yeah, we got that to do. That's fine. Got corrosion around the emblem. Yeah, no problem for us at all. Does look very unsightly though. And then corrosion where the wheel bolts go in. Yeah, we need to fix that. Next, we've got black stuff. That's where wheel weights have been on and then removed, and they've just left the sticky stuff and it looks awful. And then we've got corrosion in the bore behind it as well. And one of the very unsightly bits is damage between the spokes and just behind the spokes. This one is not too bad. That one looks okay. But there's one round here. Yeah, that shows it pretty bad. So that's the wheel spokes. Yeah, back of the spokes are here, and then we've got corrosion behind it, and this always happens. If the back of the spokes aren't clean, then they'll start to corrode, and then the corrosion will move on, and that's moved on to the barrel of the alloy. Yeah, quite a few things and different on each one. But we are going to repair them, and we're going to repair them without any machine tools, no aerosols. We're even going to leave the wheels on the car while we do it. And our aim is to make the alloys look, well, presentable rather than a bit manky. Now, if we wanted to do it absolutely properly, yeah, wheels off, take them to My Alloys or some other refinishers and get them all completely redone. And I did that to the E31. And I did think about it for a few minutes on this, and then I thought, nah, let's have some fun. Let's fix them ourselves. This car's never meant to be absolutely perfect, but it's got to be presentable. So there's a wheel I've done already. That doesn't look too bad at all, does it? Let's get on with it. Always a good place to start with alloys is just give them a good clean up first. And I used to use Wonder Wheels on these wheels. And then the formula was changed and it was absolutely hopeless. It just didn't do anything. So a good alternative is Purple Rain. Now this isn't Purple Rain, but it's a copy of it from Amazon. And it's really good at removing the sort of stains from the pads and the metal coming off them and so on. Gets rid of them pretty quickly. But it doesn't get rid of everything. It's not going to get rid of grease or anything like that. So the best thing to do with this is put the Purple Rain on, leave it for about a quarter of an hour. Don't leave it any longer because it will attack any damaged areas of the alloy. And what I mean by that, if the lacquer isn't still on the alloy, then it's going to darken the metal underneath, and that just makes it look worse. After you've used your Purple Rain, got to completely wash it off because it will sit there chomping into alloys. That's the problem. And what I mean by that is metals other places. I'll move you back a bit, otherwise the camera's going to get wet. Zoom you in instead. So yeah, especially where the wheel bolts go, they just get black and stay black unless you clean them. Now, the Purple Rain on its own isn't going to get rid of the black in there. It'll get rid of some of it, but not all of it. We can agitate it with a brush, which I did on this the first time I did the Purple Rain, but it won't get rid of it. You're going to have to get the bolt out and get it out with a wire wheel, but only use the brass, not a wire wheel, a wire brush on a drill, but only use the brass one. Don't use the iron ones or the steel ones. They will eat the alloy away, I'm afraid. So a good rinse down, Make sure you get all of the purple rain out from the barrel of the alloy. You get it on your disc, then your disc's going to go very rusty very quickly, but that's okay, they do that anyway. Rightio, so we've got brushes. This is from metal detecting kits. This is for cleaning your fines. Always an exciting thing to do. So you get 3 brushes. You get a brass one, you get a steel one, and you get this, which is just a plasticky one. So we're going to use that. Bit more purple rain in there. I think I might do them all at the same time and then clean it all at the same time again. Right, and this time we need to agitate it, because without a bit of agitation, it's not going to do anything much more than it has. It's exactly the same with what used to be Wonder Wheels, and I've no idea what they put in it now. You can get so far with just spraying it on thinking it's going to clean it, and it works well, but you've got to agitate it as well. Rinse it off, see if it's made any difference. And if it hasn't made any difference, then we'll move on to the next stage. And all of those has come out quite well. Right, wash it down is mainly to make sure that you've got all the purple rain off, because you don't want to keep on acting on the alloys. Get it wherever you put the purple rain, clean it off with a sponge. And after that, we just rinse them back down again. So you can see it's radial, that means it goes from the centre outwards, which is generally what curbs do. And you can see it's moved forward and stopped there, and something's happened. So we can make this look a bit better. In fact, we can make it look a lot better. And for that, we'll use a whetstone. Now, a whetstone, W-H-E-T, not W-E-T. And what we do with the whetstone is we just go round, so we go round in a circle. And what that'll do is it will slowly remove those radial marks. Now, short of actually having these completely refurbished, this is really the only way we can get rid of it. Now, on the 840, when I did the alloys, I did this, and then I polished the rims afterwards with a 3M's headlight polishing kit, which works really well for this sort of job. And I'll show you what that's all about in a minute. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to try and take those radial marks out of this alloy. Do a bit at a time. Bucket full of soapy water, and that's looking a lot better already. We've lost most of the radial marks. Now, you have to make a decision at some point. Some of these are going to be extremely deep, like this one. Probably better to just put a daub of paint on that, rather than try and get all the way down, because that is very deep. We've got one here as well. Now, the larger the whetstone is, the easier it is to do. Now, you're rubbing up against the tyre all the time, so you need a lubricant, and so I'm using usual car wash stuff is in my bucket. Of course, you don't want to do any bits which haven't been damaged, if you can help it. I can see here, I'm going to clear this off. Still got these here, got that very deep one there. Those ones are looking a lot better. Just a matter of adjusting the angle of the whetstone. Obviously you don't want to get to a position where you start knocking lumps off the front of it. That wouldn't be a good thing at all. And you have to rotate the whetstone now and again because you wear a hole in it. The hole's quite useful for keeping the whetstone at the right angle. Right, after a little while, wet the whetstone again so it's lubricated. Otherwise you'll be fighting against the rubber of the tyre. Right, let's have a quick look at that to see how far we've got. That's looking a heck of a lot better. I've got a tiny little whetstone that's much finer, and we can use that for just quickly whipping over it, just getting a finer cut into it. Yeah, okay, so we've got that one there. I don't think we're going to get rid of that easily. Got all this crack in the lacquer. I'm going to use the side of the whetstone that's got that cut into it and go right round, slowly adjusting the angle so we start playing on the face rather than the very edge. It is such a small amount, it looks like a lot's coming off, but it isn't. Right, so yeah, that one's not going to go. These ones will probably go. Those ones will go with a bit more work. So we'll just carry on. But it's always the same, we'll keep going. The feel of the alloy as well. See if it's feeling smooth. If it's feeling completely rough, which it shouldn't be at this point. No, it's smooth, feeling absolutely smooth. If it was feeling a bit rough, we could use the little one. Well, I think I'm happy with that. We'll go over it quickly with a fine whetstone, just to get a bit of definition. We can adjust the position of the fine one a bit more without worrying about chopping into bits of alloy. Get more of an angle on it. Oh yeah, they've gone. These ones, they're just about gone as well. Still a bit black. I think that's it really. I think that's as far as I need to go. Can't do anything about that big one. A bit of paint will do for that. Just a little blob of paint. And although I could keep going there for another hour, that doesn't look too bad at all. Quite happy with that. So yeah, the trick with this is it just doesn't notice when you look at the rest of the alloy. If I zoom you back, yeah, that looks pretty good. Yes, you can see that mark just there. But we'll zoom out. And as I say, we've got other things we need to worry about a bit more than that. Bit of wire wheeling. Wiring. Do the seat as well. Once you've got corrosion on it. Try to do as little as possible and clean it out again. Now we're looking. Not too bad. Yeah, don't do much more than that. Good. Grease up the bolt. Get some around the seat. Right, next one is the damage around the centre cap. This is the worst wheel, and I've also got to get the sticky stuff off of this side as well. It's all over the place on this one. It's a bit of a mess. Right, so I've tried a few methods. I tried a wire brush in the drill and go round at this sort of angle. That works okay. Tried wire brushes, steel brush this time. Okay. What I'm going to try now is some wet and dry at an angle. So you get a bit more control over the wet and dry than you do with the steel brush. Yeah, that is the way to do it by the look of it. Rightio, grey primer first. Should be able to get rid of all these marks here. There, how's that looking? A lot better, that's for sure. This high build primer is pretty good stuff. It's a bit more height there around that corrosion. We'll dry that, get the silver stuff on it. As I said before, we're not going for perfection, we're going for better today. Like that. Then you're just going to get paint on the brush rather than all the way down the stick. And there we go, dropped down already. Trouble is, the paint's quite noticeable when it's on a flat bit. Actually, that's not bad at all. That's a lot better than the whiteness. Yeah, very nice. That'll do nicely. Right, there we go. Job's a good one. Next one on our list, the rubbery pads. So we've got some sticky stuff remover. Paint that in. Then what we got is a scraper kit from Amazon, cheap as mug. And you get little sort of razor blades made out of plastic. I think it's quite a clever idea, really. They're reasonably sharp. Won't get far on this one. Yeah, that one was no problem at all. All sorts of scratch marks round it, which I'm guessing is where they tried to remove the pads, but it doesn't seem they made any effort at all. Right, well that one isn't going to get any better, and that's because it's got corrosion underneath it, so we'll give that a good wash down. Right, wire wool or wet and dry, one of the two. This one here just needs a good rubbing down. Let's get the last bits of the sticky pad, and also try and get rid of the scrape marks. Clean behind. Then we got this mess here, and that really is a mess. There's corrosion, bits of pad and scratches all over it. The corrosion in the barrel isn't too bad. We'll do that with the primer, high build primer. That's all you need. Don't need any more than the primer on that. There's scratches all up the side of the alloy here. Yeah, pretty vicious ones as well. Hopefully the wet and dry will get through it without getting through the base coat on the alloy. But I think that's probably as far as I want to go on that. Then we've got the corrosion and what's left of the pad. It's strange that the back of the spokes is perfect here, just everywhere else. Rightio. That's flat and got rid of the goo of the pads. Get flat inside the barrel. And boiling hot water. Wash it down. Then we'll have to do a boiling hot water. Oh, here we go, water from the kettle. Give it all a good rinse down everywhere. Good indication of the damage across there. That'll be fine. Prime that. Now, one of the questions I'm very likely to get is why don't I use a rust inhibitor like Genelite? Well, the reason is Genelite and the other rust inhibitors only work on ferrous metals. Rust, of course, is ferric oxide or iron oxide. And wheels, alloys, aren't made out of iron. They're made out of an alloy of aluminium and magnesium. So Genelite does absolutely nothing. It just sits there, doesn't change colour, doesn't do anything at all. So that's why I won't use something like Genelite on the alloys, because it's not a ferrous metal. So yeah, don't bother putting Genelite on it. It'll just sit there and do nothing. This alloy's quite warm, and the paint sets almost immediately. It's no corrosion there, but it is. I've got down to the white part of the finish. Yeah, it's amazing what difference just grey does make to an alloy. Makes it look so much better. That's about it, I think, around there. Bit of black there. Apart from that, I think we're done there. Oh, I suppose we go further down into the barrel back there while we're at it. Haven't prepared it, but at least makes it not quite as noticeable. Now I've got a whole bunch of corrosion further in the alloy, but we ignore that. That's the sort of job that you would have done if an alloy was refinished. Right, next one, behind the spokes. This one's not too bad at all, to be honest. Again, just put the primer over all of the corrosion. This is after we've cleaned the wheel, and so what we've got left now is corrosion. We don't want to just be covering over dirt. That'd be a waste of time. So we're just interested in the corrosion now. I can see right behind the spokes, so I'll get it right between them. There we go, that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's quite good, that is. I'll warm it up afterwards. I might even try putting some silver on. There we go. A lot happy about that. It looks a lot better than it did. Yeah, that looks an acceptable alloy now. I've done the curbing away round it. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, very nice. And there we go then. Yep, that's much better, isn't it? They look a whole lot better. Very pleased with those. They're quite acceptable to me now, where they weren't before. Now, doing it on a nice sunny day during the holidays, yeah, great fun. Yeah, 2 degrees and about a 4.6, not so much fun, but they have to be done. Anyway, if you enjoyed that and if it helped you, put the thumbs up, keep commenting. I love to hear your comments. Keep subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.